Hello students, today in this lecture I will discuss the derivations of Gauss law. Okay, take a look. In the last lecture students, I had discussed how to calculate the electric field due to the charged conductor, and in today's lecture I will discuss how to calculate the electric field due to the uniformly charged non-conducting sphere. What is the difference between the charged conductor and the non-conducting sphere? Since in the non-conducting sphere, the charge is uniformly distributed in its volume, whereas in the case of charged conductor of any shape, the charge always resides on its surface, that is, the charge is distributed over the surface. Clear? So, since it is clear to you what is the basic difference between the charged conductor, okay, and the non-conducting sphere. So, today we will discuss how to calculate the electric field due to the charged non-conducting sphere. Okay. Okay, sir, note it down. This is the heading. Yes, sir. So let's copy this figure. Copy. Now, sirs, first of all, we are going to define the charge distribution. Note it down. Consider the non-conducting sphere in which the charge is uniformly distributed. Full stop. Let plus q be the charge, which is uniformly distributed in the non-conducting sphere of radius capital R. Let rho, since rho be the uniform volume charge density. This is written as CQ divided by 4 by 3 pi C capital R. So as volume charge density, that is charge upon volume. Got it? Note it down. Copy it. Okay? Now, again, since we are going to discuss the three different cases. The cases are for the observation point, the position of the observation point. The observation point, it can lie in the exterior of the charge distribution. It can lie on its surface. It can lie in the interior of the non-conducting sphere. Remember, when the observation point lies in the exterior, then the observation point is present in air. Okay? When the observation point lies in the interior, then the observation point is present in the medium. It is not present in air. Got it? Okay. Now since We are going to discuss the case number first. When the observation point lies in the exterior. Got it? Now, sirs, as I had already discussed with you, how to calculate the electric field due to any charge distribution. Okay? Always you have to enclose the given charge distribution by the Gaussian surface. Now, in this current situation, we are having the non-conducting sphere in which the positive charge is uniformly distributed in its volume. So, since to make an enclosure, we are going to consider the spherical Gaussian surface. Got it, sirs? And that spherical Gaussian surface, it will be concentric. Concentric का मतलब center से, ठीक है? Concentric with the non-conducting sphere. Okay? Then only, since it can enclose the charge symmetrically. जब तक observation point exterior में है, तो since कोई problem ज़्यादा नहीं है कि charge का enclosure symmetric है या non-symmetric है, it does not make any issue. Okay? Now, बेटा ये फिगर दोबारा कॉपी होगा, पहले वाले फिगर में नहीं करना है, ये फिगर दोबारा कॉपी करना है. अब ध्यान से देखिए, सबसे पहले आपने गॉसियन सरफेस कंसीडर किया, गॉसियन सरफेस ने गिवन चार्ज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन को एनक्लोज किया. Then since suppose let us the observation point on the Gaussian surface, okay, and vector E is the electric field at this point A. So since we have to first consider the area element, then mark its area vector and the electric field. Then you have to calculate the small flux. Then we are going to calculate the total flux. Got it? Okay. Okay. Copied. Done. Now, consider the spherical Gaussian surface with a concentric with a uniformly charged non-conducting sphere. Let small r be the radius of the Gaussian surface. Full stop. Let vector E be the electric field. At the point A, due to the charged non-conducting sphere, let vector ds be the area vector of the area element at the point A on the Gaussian surface. Let d phi be the small electric flux through the area element. Now, since d phi is the small electric flux through that area element, so it is simply written as, say, vector E dot vector ds. Thus, d phi, it can be written as, say, E multiplied with ds multiplied with cos 0. Why cos 0? Because vector E and vector ds, both of them, they are in the same direction. So, since I can say that this d phi is written as, say, E into ds. Got it? Okay? Now, since we have to calculate the total flux to the Gaussian surface, note down the statement. Let phi be the total electric flux through the Gaussian surface. So, since phi is written as the closed integral of say d phi. Thus phi is written as the closed integral of e into ds. Phi is written as e closed integral of ds. Okay? Note it. Yes, so it's done. Now since the closed integral of ds, it will give you the curved surface area of the Gaussian surface. So this flux phi, it can be written as say E into 4 pi r square. What was r? R was the radius of the Gaussian surface. R was the radius of the Gaussian surface. Got it? Good. Clear? Now, let us call this equation as the equation number 1. Okay? Now, up till we had calculated the electric flux in terms of electric field. Now, since we are going to calculate the electric flux in terms of charge enclosed, that is, we have to just use Gauss law. Got it? So, now, in the next line, note down the statement. Using Gauss's law, the electric flux to the Gaussian surface is the flux y is written as charge enclosed divided by epsilon. Okay? Now, since clearly the charge which was uniformly distributed in the interior of the non-conducting sphere, that was plus q. Okay? Clear? So, the charge enclosed is say q. So, this flux y is written as q divided by epsilon. Got it? Now, since let us call this as the equation number 2. Done? Now, comparing these two equations, we will say now comparing the equation first to equation second. We get this E into say 4 pi r square is written as say q divided by epsilon naught. So the E is written as 1 upon say 4 pi epsilon naught into q divided by r square. Now, since this equation number 3 is the result, fine, got it, sense? Okay. If in terms of the charge density we have to write out the expression, then how can we write that expression? Now, since this rho, it was q divided by 4 by 3 pi, say capital R cube. So, since this q, it can be written as say rho multiplied with 4 pi multiplied with R cube divided by 3. Okay. So, in place of q, I can write out its value over here. So, since in general it can be written as 1 upon say 4 pi epsilon naught multiplied with rho into say 4 pi into say r cube divided by this 3 and the r square. Got it? Now, since this 4 pi, they are cancelled out. So, since we can say that this E can be written as say rho into say capital R cube divided by thrice of epsilon naught into r square. Now, since let us call this as the equation number 4. Okay, this rho is constant, this r is constant, this 3 is number, and epsilon naught is our constant. Fine. Now, since from this equation number 3 and the equation number 4, we conclude that the electric field is inversely proportional. The electric field is inversely proportional to r square. Okay, clear? Okay. From equation 3rd and equation 4th, we conclude E is inversely proportional to R square. Correct? Okay. Copy it. Done? Now, since I will discuss the second case, that is, the observation point lies in the interior of the charged non-conducting sphere. ओके, तो अब की बारी बेटा फिगर थोड़ा बड़ा बनाना. Let us suppose the observation point lies in the interior, okay, and that observation point will lie on the Gaussian surface. Now again, since we are considering the Gaussian surface, suppose small r is the radius of the Gaussian surface and the observation point is the point P. Got it? Capital R was the radius of the charged non-conducting sphere, and at this point, say B, we are considering the area element. Okay, again we have to mark the area vector, and again there is some charge which is enclosed by this Gaussian surface. So since again the electric field is outward, okay, at the point B the electric field will be outward. Clear? Copy it. Done? Now, note down the consideration. Consider the imaginary spherical Gaussian surface of radius small r in the interior of the charged non-conducting sphere full stop. Let small r be the radius of the spherical Gaussian surface. Let vector E be the electric field at the point P, on the Gaussian surface. Full stop. Let vector ds be the area vector of the area element at the point B. Full stop. Let d phi be the small electric flux through the Gaussian surface. D phi be the small electric flux through the area element. Now this d phi is written as vector E dot vector ds. D phi is again written as E into ds into say cos of 0 degrees. D phi is written as say E into ds. Okay. Now let phi be the electric flux through the Gaussian surface. So since this flux phi, it will be the closed integral again of d phi. This flux phi is the closed integral of E into ds. This flux phi is E multiplied with the closed integral of ds. The closed integral of ds again, it will give you the curved surface area. So it is E into 4 pi r square. What excess? Okay. Let us suppose again, let us equation number first. Now again, sirs, we had calculated the total electric flux to the Gaussian surface in terms of the electric field. Now since using Gauss law, we are going to calculate the electric flux through the Gaussian surface in terms of charge enclosed. Okay. Now clearly, sirs, the entire charge which was uniformly distributed in this non-conducting sphere is not completely enclosed. Okay. Now we are going to say that some charge is enclosed by the Gaussian surface. Okay. Now let us suppose say that the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is say plus q dash. Okay. Now here to make a statement, let q dash, let plus q dash be the charge enclosed by the spherical Gaussian surface in the interior of the charged non-conducting sphere. Done? Using Gauss's law, the electric flux through the Gaussian surface is given by, बेटा फिगर में मार्किंग कर लें क्यू डैश की, प्लस क्यू डैश की मार्किंग कर लें फिगर में. Now this flux phi is written as say charge enclosed divided by epsilon. अब की बारी बेटा epsilon नॉट यूज नहीं करना है, epsilon यूज करना है, क्योंकि जो ऑब्जर्वेशन पॉइंट है वो नॉन कंडक्टिंग स्फीयर के इंटीरियर में है, मतलब मीडियम में है. बात समझ आ गई? ओके. नाउ द चार्ज एनक्लोज्ड, इट इज से q dash. ओके. एंड वी कैन राइट आउट the charge enclosed in terms of volume charge density. Say it is q dash divided by 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay. So since this q dash is written as say rho into say 4 pi say r cube divided by 3. Okay. Now we have to just place the value of q dash over here. Q enclosed is q dash, so q enclosed can be written as this much value. So since the flux phi is written as say rho into say 4 pi r cube divided by thrice of epsilon. Okay, noted down. Let us call this as equation number 2. Okay, now let me check the video. Fine. Yes, sir, it's copied. Done. Now comparing this equation number first, comparing this equation number first with this equation number second. Comparing equation first with equation second, we get E into 4 pi r square is written as say rho into say 4 pi r cube divided by thrice of epsilon. बेटा बात समझ आ गई? Now this 4 pi here cancelled out, r square cancelled out. So since this E is written as say rho divided by thrice of epsilon into say r. So since it will be the expression for the electric field at any point which is present in the interior of the non-conducting sphere. Now, let us call this as equation number 3. Now, since in this equation number 3, this rho is constant, 3 is number, epsilon is constant. Epsilon is simply the permittivity of the material of the non-conducting sphere. Okay? So, clearly from this equation number 3, we conclude that the electric field is directly proportional to r. R was the distance of the observation point from the center. Okay? Make a statement. From the equation 3, we conclude E is directly proportional to r. E is directly proportional to r. मतलब क्या हुआ सर? मतलब ये हुआ कि बेटा सेंटर से नॉन कंडक्टिंग स्फीयर के सेंटर से जब कोई मूव करेगा बाहर की तरफ, आउटवर्ड डायरेक्शन में अगर कोई मूव करता है, और जब तक ऑब्जर्वेशन पॉइंट इंटीरियर में है, तो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का मैग्नीट्यूड इंक्रीज होता जाएगा विद द इंक्रीज इन डिस्टेंस. अब जैसे ही बाहर जाना चालू करते हैं, इससे पहले वाले केस की बात कर रहा हूं, जब ऑब्जर्वेशन पॉइंट इंटीरियर में एक्सटीरियर में था, तब हमने देखा था कि इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड इज इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू आर स्क्वायर. तो सिंस सेंटर से आउटवर्ड डायरेक्शन में जब मूव करेंगे, जब तक इंटीरियर में रहेंगे, तब तक इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड इंक्रीज होता रहेगा, और जैसे ही नॉन कंडक्टिंग स्फीयर से बाहर निकल के आगे मूव करेंगे, तो सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड डिक्रीज होना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. बात समझ आ गई? तो इसका मतलब मैक्सिमम कहाँ पे होगा? Electric field will be maximum on the surface of the charged non-conducting sphere. Okay? तो ये केस थर्ड है. इस केस थर्ड को है. Now since the case third, when the observation point lies on the surface of the charged non-conducting sphere. Okay, then in this case, the small r, it will be equals to capital R. This epsilon is epsilon naught. क्योंकि सर जब आप नॉन कंडक्टिंग स्फीयर की सरफेस की बात कर रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब ऑब्जर्वर नॉन कंडक्टिंग स्फीयर को देख रहा है. ऑब्जर्वर अगर नॉन कंडक्टिंग स्फीयर को देख रहा है तो बाहर से देखेगा, तो ऑब्जर्वेशन पॉइंट एयर में माना जाएगा. बात समझ आ गई? And thus E is maximum. So since स्मॉल आर का वैल्यू ओके हमने केस फर्स्ट के रिजल्ट में डालना है। क्लियर? तो सिंस this E max it can be written as 1 upon say 4 pi epsilon naught into say Q divided by capital R square। ये सिंपल सी बात समझ आ गई? इतना काम क्लियर हो गया? ओके ठीक है, हाँ जी समझ आ गया पक्का? ओके Now, sirs, I will discuss how to calculate the electric field due to infinitely large, thin charge sheet. Example, आप एक अपने रजिस्टर का पेपर इमेजिन करें जिस पर चार्ज यूनिफॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है दोनों फेसेस पे। गॉट इट? अब इस पेपर का साइज इन्फाइनेटली लार्ज इमेजिन कर लें। अब पेपर का साइज अगर हमने इन्फाइनेटली लार्ज इमेजिन कर लिया तो इसको बोलते हैं सिर्स इन्फाइनेटली लार्ज थिन चार्ज शीट। ठीक है? ओके तो फिर से सिर्स हम पूरा चार्ज इनक्लोज नहीं करेंगे, हम एक सेक्शन को कंसिडर करेंगे। समझ आ गई ये बात? इतना काम क्लियर हो गया? ओके सिचुएशन इज सिर्स कुछ ऐसे। अब हम क्या करने वाले हैं? अब हम एक सिलेंड्रिकल गॉसियन सरफेस कंसिडर करेंगे, ठीक है, जो कि थिन चार्ज शीट से आर पार निकलने वाला है। कुछ ऐसे दिखाई देगा। क्लियर? तो सिलेंड्रिकल गॉसियन सरफेस का कुछ पार्ट इधर दिखाई देगा, कुछ पार्ट इधर दिखाई देगा। ओके अब बेटा जब सिलेंडर आर पार निकलेगा तो चार्ज शीट का कुछ पार्ट तो एनक्लोज करेगा। ठीक है? अब बेटा ये वाला जो सेक्शन है, ये शेडेड पोर्शन है, इट इज जस्ट द क्रॉस सेक्शन ऑफ द सिलेंड्रिकल गॉसियन सरफेस। ठीक है? तो सिर्फ इतने सेक्शन पे जो चार्ज होगा वो एनक्लोज होगा। समझ आ गई बात? अब सिर्फ हमने यहां पर इसको आर पार निकाल लिया। ठीक है? तो इसका कुछ पार्ट इधर भी होगा। बात समझ आ गई? लाइक दिस। ठीक है? ये वाला फिगर कॉपी करिए। अब अगर आप पेपर की शीट को कुछ ऐसे देखते हैं, सामने से देखते हैं, तो आपको सिर्फ एक स्ट्रेट लाइन दिखाई देगी। मैं वो वाला फिगर भी स्केच करूंगा। पहले ये वाला फिगर, ये फिगर फर्स्ट है। यहां पे नेगेटिव इन्फिनिटी, यहां पे पॉजिटिव इन्फिनिटी। फील्ड लाइंस, like this. Okay? सो इस कैलकुलेशन के लिए हम इस वाले फिगर को यूज करेंगे। ठीक है? तो ये फिगर फर्स्ट और ये फिगर सेकेंड. अब क्लियरली देखिए, सिलेंड्रिकल गॉसियन सरफेस है, तो स्टूडेंट्स जब हम फ्लक्स की कैलकुलेशन करेंगे तो पार्ट्स में करेंगे. सिलेंड्रिकल गॉसियन सरफेस का राइट वाला फेस आपको दिखाई दे रहा है. अब राइट वाले फेस का जो एरिया वेक्टर है, लेट अस सपोज इट इज ds1 वेक्टर. ओके, इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का डायरेक्शन क्लियरली आपको दिखाई दे रहा है. इट इज से वेक्टर. ओके, इसी तरह लेफ्ट वाले फेस पर एरिया वेक्टर से ds2, इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का डायरेक्शन इट इज से वेक्टर ई. ओके, और कर्व सरफेस की अगर बात करते हैं, कर्व सरफेस की अगर हम बात करते हैं, कर्व सरफेस पर एरिया एलिमेंट कंसीडर करना. ठीक है, तो एरिया एलिमेंट का एरिया वेक्टर लेट अस सपोज इट एज ds3. क्लियर? और इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का डायरेक्शन दिखाई दे रहा है आपको कुछ ऐसे. and this angle would be 90. ओके, कॉपी करें इसको. Yes, sir, done. Now considerations. Consider the infinitely large thin charge sheet over which the positive charge is uniformly distributed. Full stop. Let sigma सर सिग्मा के लिए ये वाला साइन यूज करिए. लेट सिग्मा बी द यूनिफॉर्म सरफेस चार्ज डेंसिटी of the uniformly thin charge sheet of the uniformly charged कर लें, uniformly charged thin charge sheet. Full stop. Let vector E be the electric field due to the thin charge sheet. Full stop. In the next line, imagine the cylindrical Gaussian surface of cross-section area ds. Cross-section area ds, ऐसे लिखें. Cross-section area ds through the uniformly charged thin charge sheet. Full stop. Let dq, let dq ऐसे लिखें, be the small charge enclosed by the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Okay, done. Full stop. Now in the next line says, let phi 1 comma phi 2 and phi 3 be the electric flux through the Gaussian surface, through the right face, left face and the curved surface of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Done? Now since again we are going to solve in parts, तो बेटा राइट फेस का अलग से सॉल्व करेंगे, लेफ्ट वाले फेस का अलग से सॉल्व करेंगे, कर्व सरफेस का अलग से सॉल्व करेंगे. समझ आ गई बात? देखिए say since phi 1 flux through the right face, vector E and vector ds1, both of them they are in the same direction, so it is written as vector E dot vector ds1. क्लियर? अब बेटा ये जो क्रॉस सेक्शन एरिया है, ये जो क्रॉस सेक्शन एरिया है मतलब फ्लैट सरफेस का जो एरिया है दैट इज ds. मैंने लिखवा दिया. So phi 1 is written as say E into ds into say cos 0 degrees. ठीक है, चलिए काम करिए, ds1 कर लें, ds1 को ds लिख लें, so phi 1 को E into ds लिखा जाए. Call this as equation number first. Now since we are going to calculate the flux through the left face, say phi 2 is the electric flux through the left face, say vector E dot vector ds2, so flux phi 2 is E into say ds2 into say cos of 0 degree again. Why? Because vector ds2 and vector E again they are in the same direction. So again this ds2 is written as a ds, so since this flux phi 2 it can be written as a E into ds. Done? Let us call this as equation number 2. Copy it. Done? Now since I will calculate the flux through the curved surface. Okay? Words में लिखें, let d phi be the small electric flux through the area element on the curved surface. So since this d phi is written as a vector E dot vector ds3. Okay? Now we can say, चलिए बाद में लिखेंगे, इतना लिख के छोड़ दें. नेक्स्ट लाइन में लिखें, phi 3 is the flux through the curved part of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. So phi 3 is written as integral of d phi. याद रखें क्लोज इंटीग्रल नहीं लेना है क्योंकि पार्ट्स में सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ कर्व सरफेस का फ्लक्स कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं सॉलिड स्टेप में. So phi 3 is written as integral of vector E dot vector ds. Phi 3 is written as integral of E ds3 into say cos 90. Why cos 90? Because this vector ds3 is perpendicular to the curved surface and vector E is along the curved surface. Now since cos 90 is 0, so this phi 3 comes out to be 0. Let us call this as equation number 3. Okay? Copy it. Done? Now says, make a statement, let phi be the total electric flux let phi be the total electric flux through the cylindrical Gaussian surface. So since this flux phi is written as phi 1 plus say phi 2 plus say phi 3. Correct? So this flux phi is written as, the value for phi 1 it was E into ds, the value for phi 2 it was again E into ds. The value for phi 3 is 0. So since this flux phi is written as, say, 2 into E into ds. Got it? Let us call this as the equation number 4. Okay? Now, make a statement in the next line. Using Gauss's law, the electric flux to the Gaussian surface can be written as, the flux phi is charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught. Now says, the charge enclosed was dq. I had already told you. The charge enclosed is dq. Fine. So, the flux phi is written as, say, dq divided by epsilon naught. Call this as the equation number 5. Now, you have to just compare these two equations. Okay? Now, comparing the equation 4th with equation 5th, we get, what we get? Twice of E into ds is written as a dq divided by epsilon. Fine? Okay? Clear? Now, since sigma was the surface charge density and it was dq divided by ds, so since this dq is written as a sigma into ds. Now what we are going to do? We are going to just place a value for dq over there. So since this twice of E into ds, it can be written as, say, sigma into ds divided by epsilon. Got it? Now this ds is cancelled out and we are left with the result. The result is sigma divided by twice of epsilon. Okay. Now clearly, since from this result we conclude that the electric field is independent of distance. Distance तो था नहीं. So electric field at all the points around the thin charge sheet, it is uniform. Magnitude wise same, direction wise same. Okay, note it down. Or make a statement. The electric field is constant at the points around the uniformly charged thin charge sheet. Okay? Copy it. सिंस मैं हेडिंग चेंज करना भूल गया था तो मैं हेडिंग चेंज कर देता हूं. यूनिफॉर्मली चार्ज्ड. तो ये हेडिंग ध्यान से डाल दें. थिन चार्ज sheet. Electric field due to uniformly charged thin charge sheet. Yes, understand? Done? Now, Now, sirs, we are going to consider the thick charge sheet. Thick charge sheet. Clear? That is, we can consider a book, okay, and the charge is uniformly distributed on the cover pages of the book. तो चार्ज सिर्फ सरफेसेस पर होगा, कवर पेजेस पर होगा, इंटीरियर में नहीं है. ठीक है? So the electric field due to uniformly charged thick charge sheet. Clear? Uniformly charged thick charge sheet. Fine. तो सिर्फ दो पैरेलल फेसेस स्केच करेंगे. The positive charge is distributed over the left face and the right face. Okay? Now, in this case, what we are going to do, we are going to consider again the cylindrical Gaussian surface, but it will not pass through the entire sheet. Clear? That is, I have to just calculate the electric field due to the thick charge sheet, or I can say I have to just calculate the electric field due to the charge only on one face of the charge sheet. Fine? Now, in such a case, I am going to consider the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Okay? And the cylindrical Gaussian surface is not passing through the entire charge sheet. It is just passing through one face of the charge sheet. And it will just enclose the charge, say, dk. Okay? Now say vector ds what? The area vector of this particular face. The electric field, say vector E. The area vector of this face, let us suppose it is ds2 vector. The area element of the curved surface, it is, say, vector ds3, and the electric field is, say, vector, and this angle is 90 degrees. Okay? Copy this figure. Done? Make it fast. Now the consideration. Consider the uniformly charged thick charge sheet. Thick. Let sigma be the uniform surface charge density. Let sigma be the uniform surface charge density. That imagine the cylindrical Gaussian surface passing through one face of the charge sheet. First up, let phi 1, comma phi 2 and phi 3 be the electric flux through the right face, left face and the curved part of the Gaussian surface. Again, we will do the calculations in the parts. Now, since this flux phi1, it has written as vector E dot vector ds1. Flux phi1 is written as E into say ds1 into say cos of 0 degrees. Thus ds1 is again equals to ds. What was ds? ds was the cross section of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Note it down. ds is the cross section area. ds is the cross section area of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. So as this phi1 is written as E into ds. Cos 0 is 1. Call this as equation number first. Now the flux phi2 is written as vector E dot vector ds2. Clear? Now, as soon as there is no charge present in the interior of the thick charge sheet, so in the interior of the thick charge sheet, the electric field is 0. The electric field is 0. The flux phi2, it will be equal to 0. Call this as second. Okay? Now we have to calculate the flux to the curved part. Make a statement. Let d phi be the small flux through the area element on the curved part of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Now since this d phi is written as say vector E dot vector ds3, fine, and phi 3 already since it is mentioned in the considerations, phi 3 was the flux through the curved part. So it is written as the integral of say vector E dot vector ds3. Got it? So this phi 3 is written as the integral of E ds3 into say cos 90 degree. Why? Because the angle between the directions of the electric field vector and ds3 vector is 90. Now cos 90 is 0. So this flux phi 3 is, all this as third. Phi 1, phi 2, phi 3. Done? Now, in the next line, make a statement. Let phi be the electric flux through the cylindrical Gaussian surface. So says this phi is written as say phi 1 plus phi 2 plus say phi 3. So this phi is written as, the value for phi 1 is EDS. The value for phi 2 is 0. The value for phi 3 is 0. So this flux phi is written as E into ds. Let us call this as equation number 4. Copy it, says come on, make it fast. Done? Now, make a statement. Using Gauss's law, the electric flux to the Gaussian surface can be written as say the flux phi is written as say the charge enclosed divided by epsilon naught and the charge enclosed, let us say dq. Sigma was the surface charge density, dq divided by ds. So this dq is written as a sigma into ds. So since this flux phi is written as say sigma into ds divided by epsilon naught. call this as the equation number 5th. Copy it. Now sirs, compare it. The equation 4th with equation 5th, we get what we get. E into ds is written as sigma into ds, sigma into ds divided by epsilon. ds cancelled out, so this E is written as sigma by epsilon. Fine. So since it is the result. Again, we conclude that the electric field around the thick charge sheet is also independent of the distance. Note it down, make a statement. The electric field at the observation points around the thick charge sheet is independent of the distance. Okay? Copy it. And since it is all for today, the derivations of Gauss's law are completed. Okay? Again, I will give one more lecture on Gauss's law, and in that lecture, I will discuss some special numericals with you. Okay? Okay.